Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you The Elder Scrolls. Wait, I'm confused. We'll get to the bottom of this by taking the initiative. As we investigate further, you will notice this is, in fact, not the RPG series by Bethesda, but the new online card game by Mojang, the well-known developer of Minecraft. I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page here, because this name can cause a lot of confusion. We got that out of the way, now let's take a look at this game. The object of the game is to destroy 3 out of 5 of your opponent's idols. You do this by placing creatures on the hexagonal field as shown, and they automatically attack after a number of turns. I chose the energy deck to start, and from my understanding, this deck focuses on high damage attacks and spells. But these are not cards, they're called scrolls, hence the name. In order to use these scrolls, you need to sacrifice some of them to gain resources. Every scroll provides you with 1 additional resource, and you can only do this once per turn. You can also sacrifice a scroll to draw 2 additional scrolls, but you can only do this once per turn as well, and you have to choose one action or the other. The numbers for the creatures represents its damage, countdown, and health. So for example, a creature with a countdown of 2 will attack in 2 turns. At the end of the second turn, that creature will attack anything in front of it, dealing its damage, and if there's nothing there, it attacks the idol. Every scroll has a description of what it does. For spells and enchantments, there's some direct damage, area of effect damage, buffs and debuffs, etc. For creatures and structures, sometimes they have a special ability, but it's mainly the 3 numbers that you need to focus on. The game ends when a player loses 3 idols, or when a player surrenders. Both players are awarded with some gold, and this is used in the shop to buy some new stuff. The game has microtransactions. You can buy shards with real money, and these can be used in place of the gold you earn. Be wary of this because the game itself is $20. This makes me a bit skeptical since the microtransactions lend itself to be a free-to-play game. That's really it for the game itself. It's very simple, easy to learn. It has a tutorial, and you can play against 3 difficulties of AI. 2 or 3 games with the hard AI should give you enough confidence to play against others. I'm using the energy deck, so my first impression of the game is solely based around that, and I'm having problems with it. I've noticed that out of the 50 cards you begin with, you only have 15 creatures you can summon onto the field. This feels very low to me because I'm always drawing too few of them, and I end up losing because I barely have anything on the field. Most of my scrolls are supporting spells that augment these 15 creatures, so they become useless to me most of the time. I'm not entirely sure if I'm playing the energy deck wrong, or if this is an actual problem with it. The only other issue I have so far is the microtransactions for a paid game. It's hard for me to analyze how this game will do because I don't play Magic the Gathering. I'm not involved with any of these communities, and I have no idea if this will appeal to my audience, but I'll try. There are 3 decks you can choose from. The number of decks will grow over time, and within the next few weeks, I would expect at least 1 more deck to come out. I've heard reports of the Order deck being underpowered, but in terms of balance, I think it's too early to say anything. People need more time to figure the game out, see what works, see what doesn't, develop a deeper understanding of what's actually happening in the game. I don't think any major balance changes will be performed in this time period, but I do expect to see more content, more scrolls, more decks, like more stuff to play around with in general. Then, in a few months, we'll have enough people who understand the fundamentals of the game that we can have a constructive discussion about the balance. Maybe they'll change the pre-constructed decks to have more creatures to start with. I believe there's going to be 2 major sources for players for which this community will be built from. One is the Minecraft community. It's very easy for Mojang to expose the game to the millions of Minecraft players worldwide. The other source is the player base from other online card games, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, and other games. The players from the physical, offline card games shouldn't be counted here, just the players from the video game versions. I have no idea what the size of these communities are. I'm thinking there's going to be some cross-pollination here, but the general appeal of this game could be limited to these groups, and I don't think the game will come close to having the same player base as Minecraft. Like I said before, I'm not involved in these kinds of games, but I did have some fun with Scrolls. For those of you out there who are into these card games, leave a comment below, share what you know with the rest of us. How does this game stack up to Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh? Is it simpler or more complex? How viable would this be for tournament play? I do know that Magic the Gathering has some pretty big tournaments, 5-figure prize pools, 1,000+ attendance, and I'm wondering if Scrolls would have the same potential as a competitive game. But as it stands, it's a $20 game, 15 euros, it's open beta, and the price will probably increase once the game is officially released. And again, it has microtransactions, so keep this in mind. As always, I'll follow up on this in a few months. Thanks for watching.